Good morning, friends. I'm Dewey, and my Tech Talk topic for today is EV, PHEV, or HEV. That is the question. For several months, I've been having a casual email relationship with Mike Ungerman, who, by the way, is scheduled to do a presentation on Proton Mail in today's Tech for Seniors meeting. Mike recently jolted me into a new reality regarding electric vehicles when he told me about his 2018 Kia Niro plug-in hybrid EV, which is powered by a 1.6 gasoline engine and a battery-powered motor in addition. His PHEV, shown at right, typically has 26 miles of range before switching over to its gasoline engine. Since most of Mike's trips are short, he told me that he only needs to fill his gas tank once every 4 to 5 months. Needless to say, I was impressed. My recent tech talks on electric vehicles have concentrated entirely on pure EVs, which use no fossil fuel, but Mike's PHEV made me realize that I really needed to learn more about these as well as hybrid EVs that don't have any plug-in at all. A Google search helped me quickly find an extended article at consumerreports.com regarding the pros and cons of all three types of electric vehicles. By the way, this article, which was authored by Mike Monticello, also appears in the April 2022 issue of Consumer Reports. That's their annual car issue, and the cover is shown at the right. The rollout of new electric vehicles, plug-in hybrids, and traditional hybrids is good news if you're looking for an alternative fuel vehicle. These models provide energy-efficient transportation while lowering or eliminating altogether tailpipe emissions and reducing operating costs. Traditional gasoline electric hybrids aren't efficient, but aren't emissions-free either. Plug-in gasoline electric hybrids split the difference between a hybrid and an electric vehicle. Or are you ready to take the leap to a fully electric vehicle? That move eliminates the gas engine, but you need to have a convenient way to recharge. Always trade-offs. Let's take a look at the pros and cons of each type, beginning with fully battery-powered EVs. EVs are very peppy and fun to drive, as I found out about 4 weeks ago when I drove a Polestar 2. They're also very efficient, and most models have a driving range of perhaps 200 to 300 miles. Exceeding that range requires extra planning on when and where you'll need to recharge. Without question, Elon Musk's Tesla led the way, having sold nearly 2 million EVs since it started up in 2009. Think of it, 2 million. Last year, Tesla sold around 300,000 cars to U.S. buyers alone. A Tesla Model 3 is shown at the right, a very attractive automobile. Let's look at the pros and cons. The pros of EVs. 1, it's usually less expensive to charge batteries than gasoline would cost. 2, home charging is convenient. 3, EVs are very quiet. 4, instant full power makes for thrilling acceleration. I can tell you all about that. The cons of EVs. 1, they're almost always more costly. 2, trips longer than the battery range allows need extra planning. 3, hot or cold weather impacts cabin climate, thus reducing range. 4, multi-unit living can impact charging. If you live in an apartment, it may be almost impossible to set up a really good charging station. A proposed Tesla supercharger station in Texas is shown at the right. It looks pretty modern. Wow. Let's take a look at plug-in hybrid EVs. Like Mike Ungerman's, which I referred to earlier, they allow for local driving on electric power alone, yet have the convenience and range of a gas engine for longer road trips. PHEVs have a larger battery than regular hybrid EVs and can be driven further and more often on battery alone. Also, regenerative braking can extend the battery's range since the gasoline engine and electric motors switch back and forth as needed. Finally, the relatively small battery packs can be charged using a common 110-volt outlet. The pros of plug-in hybrid EVs. 1, most can travel 20 to 40 miles on battery alone. 2, their gas engines tend to have good fuel economy. 3, they're good for longer trips since range limitations don't matter. 4, some are eligible for a U.S. federal tax incentive of $7,500, and that's significant. The cons of PHEVs. They are more expensive than gasoline-powered cars. 2, plug-in components may take up valuable cargo space. 3, since they're impractical without easy access to a 110-volt outlet. There are more than a dozen PHEVs available, ranging from the Hyundai Ioniq, shown at the left, which is under $30,000 US currency, to the Chrysler Pacifica, shown at the right, which costs over $57,000, more like $60,000. This brings us to our final category, hybrid EVs. Hybrids combine one or more electric motors with a gasoline engine. About 5 weeks ago, while we were still at Silveridge in Mesa, my next door neighbor, Brian, was preparing to leave for their Minnesota home, which is a 1,700-mile trip with their bright red SUV, a 22 Toyota Sienna HEV. It's similar to the picture shown on the right. Brian proudly told me that it had averaged 39.5 miles per gallon during their 3-month stay in Mesa. That's pretty, not too shabby, I guess, as far as I'm concerned. I thought it was great. The pros of hybrid EVs. 1, excellent gas mileage. 2, lower emissions and often more power compared to gasoline-only cars. 3, never need plugging in. 4, they can gas up at regular filling stations, so forth. The cons of HEVs. 1, they cost more than comparable gasoline-only cars. And 2, many use a constantly variable transmission or continuously variable transmission that can cause high engine revving. Among the most popular HEVs are the Toyota Camry, shown at the lower left, and the Hyundai Tucson, shown at the lower right. Other popular HEVs include the Chevy Equinox, Ford Bronco Sport, Ford Escape, Honda Accord, Chevy Malibu, and the Hyundai Sonata. I think Subaru has one too. I awakened early Saturday morning thinking how I'd end today's Tech Talk. I turned on my radio and astonishingly heard a lady saying, EV batteries are the new oil and the US is lagging behind Europe and China in the race to make them. The lady was Joanne Muller, transportation specialist at Axios.com. I couldn't believe how timely this was. When the interview ended, I jumped out of bed and made notes that ultimately led to my finding her recent article, The Race to Dominate the New Battery Economy. Her concern is that the top new batteries and the very best technology is mainly sourced in Asia. By the way, Mrs. Muller is also the author of Axios Navigate, which is one of their many newsletters. Joanne Muller went on to say that the historic shift to electric vehicles will give the U.S. a fresh chance to achieve energy independence, but it will require complex strategic moves that won't pay off for years. Time constraints preclude my covering the rest of her article today, but it caused me to think that we might be entering a time when the popularity of fully electric vehicles wanes a bit, and plug-in hybrids, and especially hybrid EVs with their smaller batteries, gain favor because of battery costs, supply chain problems, and so forth. Joanne Muller's article could be my Tech Talk topic for next Monday. Thinking about it. Well, folks, that's my Tech Talk story for today, and I'm sticking with it. Thanks for watching. stay safe. And with this wonderful warm weather that looks like it's going to finally start up here in Minneapolis, in the Minneapolis, Twin Cities, Minnesota area, it looks like I'm going to be able to get out on my John Deere mower and mow my lawn, and hopefully even find time to write another Tech Talk for next week. Thanks for watching.